Before I convey my vote of thanks, we do have an important event tomorrow covering this weekend. That would be tomorrow is Tantex Sports Day, and this will be held at Cafe Bahar in Plano from 2 p.m. And there are about 75 winners who will be participating and who will be taking their certificates. I would request everyone to come and please cherish that moment of winners in Dallas. Thank you. As we are heading close to the program, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank many who are here. Balu Garu from Aina TV, and I believe Shaukat is the one who's handling it. Thank you so much. Bytegraph, Mr. Praveen Yarlagata, thank you so much. And Desi Plaza Media, TV9, Mr. Venkat Mulukutla Garu, TV5, Sundar Turmella. Actually, a special thanks for him as he flew and he rushed from New York straight to Dallas Airport and stayed here. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate your gesture. Thank you. I would also like to thank Basera Indian Restaurant for providing us snack and tea for this evening. And special thanks to Shaji for giving us this church, Sri Malankara Church. Thank you for facilitating. It was an honor to work with you. Thank you. And I would also like to thank all women entrepreneurs who came today and put up their booths to just show your commitment for women entrepreneurs. Thank you so much. And all the life insurance details are available outside in the booths. So please go through them if at all needed. And a special thanks to our sponsor, Mr. Sanjay Fatambhai Jewelers. I hope we had a better discount. Thank you so much, Sushma Jampani, for your decorations. They are simply awesome and superb. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking your time, even though you're pregnant and you're doing so much for us. Thank you for volunteering. She is with Dazzle Events. It is available on Facebook. So if you are all interested in doing any decorations further, please check onto her website. And I would also thank a couple of other people. I mean, I have been learning that life is a journey, true. Some come, some go. And people are there who stay along with us for good and in bad too. This is an opportunity that I would like to take to thank a couple of people who I always call home. Among which the first one would be Srimati Sharda Singh Reddy Garu, who has introduced me to tea, and without her I won't be standing in front of you. Shri Guram Srinivas Reddy Garu, who gave me the opportunity of being a women's chair for this year. My mentors, Shri Raghu Gajala Garu, he's not here, but I would like to thank him from the bottom of my heart. Mr. N.R.U. Garu, who's Timex president, who was always available for any questions of mine, whom I used to bother a lot. I hope you don't mind. And a couple of my other friends who came all along in my way to help me to organize this event further, which include Srimati Jaya Talikalpalli, Srimati Indu Pancharpula, Srimati Sudha, Srimati Kalyani Tarimeti Garu, and Srimati Madhavi Sunkareddy Garu. Thank you so much, Shrilu, also, for your help. Thank you. Now we go about with our question and answer session. Thank you.
Please go ahead and take your seat, please. Thank you everyone to stay late and we are right now we are doing a panel discussion. Anyone, if you have any questions to any of the speakers, please go ahead and ask. So let me ask my question first. Sanjay, thank you so much for your help with this event. Let me ask this question. There are different investment opportunities, right? Jewelry business or real estate or stock market. Okay? Why should I invest in jewelry business when compared to real estate or stock market?
To begin the answer, you should start this question from the wife.
I know. I understand.
Our biggest asset is our family members. So I look at investment, the real success is measured with how much you are happy with your family. So what I would say is, this is a second way of telling benefits we are receiving from investing in jewelry. But the real way, straight way is, if you invest in jewelry, if you see the history of our parents, most of the rainy days time, what they did is they used their jewelry. They took the jewelry from their closet, put it as collateral, and got out of the big troubles. And now some of us are here because of that attempt done by our parents. So jewelry investment is not just for one time. It's not just an investment that you need it for only luxury, but it will help in rainy days also. So I would highly recommend. I'm not saying we should not invest in stocks and other things. Everything should be done, but jewelry is an asset which you try to see last. If you have investment in the bank, 100,000 sitting cash, you'll be thinking so many businesses where to invest in all. And if you have land, you'll be thinking how to have, develop the land, do something you don't want to sell. But jewelry is something you touch the last. So it's the safest investment. This is the history. And even our country's cash is dependent upon gold reserves. What to speak of individuals. Thank you.
Sanjay, I would ask a continuation question. Well, you buy a house, it is there, nobody can steal it. Okay, you learn a programming, you learn it is there in your mind, so nobody can steal it. So you earn another property, it is, but think about the jewelry, those who buy it, they also need to take care of it properly.
Absolutely.
So do you suggest people what to do? Do you have some tips to the people how they should safeguard it? Because they're both prone for robbery, all that stuff. So, and often in South Asian community or South Indian community, we hear these robberies. So, it's a good investment, but you have to take a proper care.
Absolutely.
So, do you suggest how people should manage their jewelry, especially in this country?
Actually, it is very, very important that you watch around when you're shopping jewelry, also when you're leaving the jewelry store, you watch if there is somebody watching you or not, anybody following you or not. Because a lot of times what happens is, some of the robbers, they're actually looking at the regular common buyers, where they buy, where they shop, how they do, and they follow them and they sometimes rob. And the common standard among Indians is they hide jewelry in the rice or the kitchen, some under some sink or something. Please forgive me, some of you are already doing it. so what I say is, it is very funny to give this tip will sound funny, but I would also explore garage for selling my jewelry. That's the last place somebody will go. It's all junk. A lot of them, you store all the store. Some people have garage very neat and clean, just 2 cars and that's it. But most of the garages I know are not just 2 cars. So if you keep jewelry somewhere there, and don't put everything in one place. Put it in different places. So even if you lose, you will not lose everything. So put some in attic, put some in garage, put some in kitchen, no problem. So I mix up with costume jewelry. So these are some tips. But if you want more deeper tips, I don't want to give all these tips. I don't know if somebody else is also listening through website and everything. and then they'll know all the secrets. So you can come to my shop, I'll give you all the tips you can procure. Bank is best. In fact, in future we might have a locker facility at our store itself, because what I see, a lot of them, they want to wear jewelry on weekends, and weekends all the banks are closed. So they end up wearing costume jewelry, they don't get their real jewelry, and they just wear costume jewelry and go to party. They're so busy with weekdays, by the time they come from the office, bank is closed and they missed weekend party. So I thought it will be nice service to the community if I can give them a facility of a locker in the jewelry store. So you just buy from me and store it right there.
Mr. Sanjay ji, I think I'm deviating the subject here a little bit. Talking about the purity of gold. In India, some stores like Joya Lucas and Tanishq and everything, when you put the gold in the carat machine, it shows the purity. So how far it is true and how far we can trust that? Some stores, they don't have a purity machine, carat machine. Even some stores here, we don't see, like in New Jersey and all that. So what is your opinion on that?
I think a lot of brand stores, they started this concept of verifying the gold through the machine. It is quite interesting machine, and it's accurate also, and I don't see that much in America. But as long as you have hallmark, there's some security you have. I recommend always buy from a jeweler trustworthy, who have a name, who are the jewelers who are legacy. Because what happens, with the name comes responsibility. Sometimes we get attracted to any new jeweler or any new design, a new place and buy it. But I would highly recommend the jewelry store has to be reputable. You also look at the persons who are running the jewelry store. That is also very important. I have seen some jewelers in India, their parents were very, very good, but the children have a different desire. They want to become rich fast. So sometimes you have to cross-check the legacy with who is running the store also. But mostly legacies, the stores who are having long time, good reputation, they don't cheat much.
Yeah, but in olden days, we never had any carat machines. So obviously our old gold will be showing 19%, 21% like that. But the new jewelry, whatever is coming now, from Joya Lucas or Tanishq, you see complete 22 carats or 22.4 like that, So, how do we manage that? That means we lost the gold, right? Most of the purity we have lost. And 12% or 14% we have wastage on top of that.
Actually, that is true. Those times we did not have all these things. In fact, if you are from Hyderabad, anybody, then I'll tell you there are areas, let's say south, then north, and there's two different areas like Charminar and Jubilee Hills. If you go for the gold purity, even today, Charminar says the gold is only 50% pure. Even today.
Yeah, even the average.
The content of the gold is only 50% pure. When you go to Panchakutta and all of a sudden there is 92%. So even today it's happening.
Yeah.
And people want to cheat, they can put fake stamp also.
So now in America, we don't have any carat machines, right? So how do you measure that purity here? Is it customized when it comes from India, or is it made here completely?
No, those which comes from India, it is coming through the customs. So it is verified very nicely. These customs have right to verify the gold. Otherwise, there is an international rate difference.
Okay.
So if I'm exporting on the name of gold, I'm selling some silver with gold plating to America, but I will get gold in India at international price. So it is a big loss to India and America also, because we are getting the gold at international price, but you are not sending gold actually. You are faking the gold. So the standards are so strict that you cannot cheat with government. When it comes to customs, most of the time is pure. Thank you.
I have a question. This is for Ram Garu. While you're presenting, there was one point where I didn't have proper information, and that was, how can a woman be a realtor? Investing is a different question. Taking part of the career as a realtor would be a different one. while you're answering, I want you to answer the number of hours and is it feasible for her, for a woman?
Yeah, definitely. Like the major decision when purchasing a home, woman makes the decision. The woman is the one that makes, is a major decision maker in house buying. The men just want a place to stay, but woman wants how she wants it to be. Like she stays with the kid most of the time at home. She wants it like so. Definitely, women realtors will definitely help a lot. I have 3 realtors, like women realtors in my team, and they are really doing very well. Of course, there are some sacrifices you have to make. Basically, most of the work we do will be on evenings and weekends, and that is the time that you need to spend with your kids. Like, so there are some sacrifices they are there, but definitely women has a lot of better chances, like convincing the other, one of the other women to buy the home. So. Definitely career-wise, there is a lot of things in real estate. Real estate is not just buying or selling a home. There's a lot of things in real estate. Like you can do different things in like basically property management. We have you can have remodeling. You have like basically draperies, like setting up the houses for sale. Like there's a lot of things you can do in real estate. Like it's not just selling or buying a home. You need to look at your career. You need to look at your kids and see like which one better suits your needs. Like some things like you don't need the evenings and weekends. And for a realtor, you need the evenings and weekends. Most of the time, you are working with that. I definitely encourage women to come into the business. The people who are doing right now, they are really doing awesome.
So my question is to Santiago. When starting a business, what do you think is more important, having an innovative idea or having a solid business plan and a solid foundation to start?
I personally don't think idea is that important. Execution is more important. And business plan, that was the first thing I did because I didn't know any business. I didn't have any business background. So for someone like me, if you have no business experience, writing a business plan is a must for your sake, so that you know what you are getting into. So it will help you think through everything. So it's execution. I would say execution is more important than idea.
Hi, this is question regarding SMB. Is that SMB? Oh, SBA. So we saw the slides predominantly around US citizens. So
yes.
You have to be a citizen.
You have to be a citizen? Okay.
Yes, we have to be a citizen.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Use the mic, please.
Yes. Yeah, mic.
Mic, please.
51% of the 51% of the ownership has to be a U.S. citizen. So if there's 2 people and maybe one owns 49%, they don't have their citizenship yet, but the 51% owner does, then that would work. We would encourage you to go ahead and get your citizenship too. Yes, thank you.
I'm going to ask a question for each one of you, so that way each one of you get an opportunity. Huh? Okay. Can you give me like 2 minutes? Ron, I'm interested in getting into rental properties, so you need to tell me the advantages and disadvantages of investing into rental property. You hold on to your question. Sir, Mr. Thorne, you said for all our team members, you will give for $400. Question to you, Kim. $400, you'll set up as a will and estate. And can you go over on what are all included on that villa and estate for $400 fees. Hold on to your question. Remember your question. So, Rayan, for CPA, I've used a lot of CPAs in the past. They always surprise with the bill. What do you suggest for a business owner to have a agreement with the CPA? Like what do they do and how much they charge? Because they always surprise with the bills at the end. And then Johnny, Ray, for contract, I mean, if I wanted to bid for federal contract or state contract in any kind of services, do I have any advantage being all Indians come under minority, I think, and being a minority-owned and woman-owned business? Can you tell me what advantages and disadvantages that are as a business owner having a minority status? So hold on to your question and you can answer later. I'm just giving each one of you an opportunity. Sandhya, do you have plans to expand your business? And are there any opportunities for people to have a franchising opportunity? Sanjay, so you said we need to know how to shop for jewelry. You think most of the time people who are shopping for jewelry, they are making any mistakes? What type of mistakes typically people make? So start with the Ram.
It's always better to watch.
It's always better to invest in real estate. Real estate is proportionally reacts with the inflation. The inflation grows up, the property values go up, and as well as the rents for the property investments also goes up. And also you have a lot of tax advantages with investing in real estate. The taxes you pay and the interest you pay are tax deductible for you. And also basically after 15 years, or if you keep on renting that house, after 15 or 30 years of mortgage payment, you own that house and you can pass those ones, because the rates are going up, the house prices are going up. So if you buy in a good location where there are a lot of companies involved in companies there, and also good schools, it always you definitely don't go wrong with those ones. There's a lot of advantages buying real estate. Main first thing is tax deductions, and suppose a 401k, you may or you may not invest in it. For the house, you have to make the payments, or else bank will come and take it over. So it is a force. They will force you to have a commitment for it. So that is the best way to do it. And you can pass it on to your generations, and you can have a 1040 tax exchanges, 1035 tax exchanges when you are selling the house.
That's good.
Thank you.
Your turn. Your turn. You remember my question?
No. I'm not sure I understood it.
Okay. Let me make the question one more time. You said you made an announcement that you would give some discount to team members on establishing will and estate. So the cost of that discount is $400 per family, right? For two people?
For a family.
What are all included in that is what my question is.
Both the husband and wife need a will, and so it'd be a will for each. And then the other documents, and I apologize, I didn't get through in the time earlier to discuss all of them, but a power of attorney for business purposes, a medical or healthcare power of attorney, and then that corrective to physicians would be included. And we use one additional form, the HIPAA authorization. The HIPAA law, of course, prohibits healthcare providers from sharing our private medical information with anyone. And I recommend that we make an exception and sign a form to give at the hospital or to a healthcare provider if we want to list those persons with whom they can share our information if we're not able to do it. So it would be a complete set of documents for husband and for wife. I'd be happy to do that for anyone who needs them. They're just basic, essential documents we're all going to end up requiring at some point.
Great, thank you.
I was going to piggyback on his HIPAA comment. I have a brother-in-law who was having a heart attack, and his family was in Kansas, and he was unmarried, and he, picked up the phone and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm at the emergency room at and I think I'm having a heart attack, and I'll let you know." And then he hung up. Well, okay, then the battery went dead on his cell phone. So now his family is in Kansas wondering if he's dead or alive and which hospital he's at. And they're making phone calls to all the hospitals they can find in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which there are not just a few of those. And nobody will give them any information because there was no HIPAA thing in place. And anyway, he's great now, but it was just a spooky time for his family. So you asked me about billing. Billing is my least favorite part of doing what I do because I always get to fight with, it's hard. Did I do that?
No.
Was that me? Okay. So let me tell you a little tale. There was a story that James Michener had in his book, Chesapeake. And there was a sailing ship that accidentally went up the river and got stuck on a sandbar, and it was stuck. It was stuck. It was not going anywhere. They couldn't get to it. They couldn't unload it. It was stuck in the sandbar. So there was this little old tugboat fellow, chugging up and down the river, and they said, "Can you help us? Can you tell us how?" He said, "I can get that loose." And he said, "And you'll be able to use the boat again." And he said, "But it's going to cost you about $3,000 for me to do it." And they said, "Well, this was a long time ago, and there was a lot of money." And they said, "But, we got all this tied up, and we don't know what to do." So he backs it up, and he hooks on to, two sides of the back side of the sailing vessel, and he pulls it over sideways this way. And dang if it didn't, when it came loose from the sandbar, it just popped back up and floated down the river. And they said, "But you charged us all that money for doing just that much work?" And he said, "I charged you for knowing how." So you get what you pay for. If you want to do it yourself and you want to represent yourself, you get what you pay for. Hence the tale I told you about my friend who, I charged him a little bit of money, but I saved him about $5,000–7,000. So, yes, it's nice to negotiate what you're going to get up front, but you also have to understand that if it's going to take me 10 hours to do it, I'm going to estimate for 10 hours of my time. If it ends up taking me 20 or 25 hours to do that job, somebody's got to pay for that. I either have to spend the time away from my family in the evening to make up the difference in order to pay for a minimum of, let's see, last year we did about 300 tax returns in our office and maybe another, I can't tell you about payroll tax reports, but we got 4 accountants working. I paid over $12,000 just in software costs for the software to do the work that I did. So before I even start doing anything, I've got to pay for that software. I have to have it in place. I have to have those things lined up. I have to keep the power on. So it is difficult to negotiate what your cost is going to be to deal with the accountant. Did you want the accountant to just do the tax return from the records that you provide? Did you want those records to be auditable? records, or did you want us to just throw something at the wall and hope that it sticks? So, you know, if you're going to do it that way, use TurboTax or whatever software you want to use. You figure out what software you want to use. Let me think what else. If another tale that we had was we had this lovely fellow. He was a truck driver, and this was back in the 70s. He was a long-distance truck driver. He kept all of his receipts in the floor of the cab on the other side of his truck. So periodically he would gather those up into a garbage bag and bring them quarterly to us to sort and deal with. So you really felt like you needed a bath when you got done with doing his paperwork. So, and it is that way. So, you know, if you're going to use a contractor or somebody to do your bookkeeping and your write-up work, it's very important for you to provide them access to the records. If they ask you a question, it's nice for you to get back to them that day instead of next week, because, you know, we move on to do something else, and now we've got to remind ourselves what we did. A cost is associated with that, and that's kind of why it gets expensive to deal with the CPA. You know, if you can have a really good bookkeeper, or if you can maintain your records in one or two bank accounts or one or two credit cards that are business-only credit cards, you can download that information, sort it very quickly, makes it very efficient for us. And frankly, you know, what Dad says is, you know, I don't need to do this for experience. I'm 75 years old, and I really have plenty of experience, so I know how to do bookkeeping and that sort of thing. So that's why it gets expensive, is that, you know, if any idiot could do it, I'm not just any idiot. So does that help?
All right, thank you.
Okay, what was that question one more time?
That concept.
Having business classified as minority or woman-owned, advantages in federal, state government projects.
What are the advantages? Okay, in my PowerPoint presentation, we talked about the $500 billion in the federal government contracts. Basically, the advantage is that 23% of all those contract dollars have to go to the different certifications that we had talked about. Part of those is the women's business owned and the minority women's business owned. Those contracts, if they're small women's business owned, small minority business owned, the owners of those businesses can go after contracts, and they can get that contract on a set-aside. What a set-aside contract is, that means that the contracting officer from the federal government or the state government or even some private businesses can do it. They can set these contracts aside, and they do not have to advertise it and take bids from everybody. They can go directly to the woman-owned small business and offer them the contract directly. Now, that woman-owned small business has to be able to fulfill the contract.
Okay, yeah,
But basically, the bottom line is that's why they need to be in this program. Did you have another question with that too?
No, what I was getting into is, so you having those minority or woman-owned definitely gets you in the door?
Absolutely, it does. And the reason I was going over the Hub Zone in all those other certifications is because the more certifications that you have, if you can, the more check marks the contracting officer can put down that they fulfilled their 23% of their contract dollars to all these different set-aside certifications. So you want to get as many as you can.
So it's 23%.
Yes, it's 23% of all.
So even the corporate, like IBM and all these companies, they have to honor that 23%?
No, this is federal government contracts.
How about the private sector?
The private sector, they can do it on their own for community, just to give back to the community if they want to. If it's under a certain dollar threshold,
They're not mandatory.
they're not mandated like the federal government is. But they can do it, and more of them are doing it under, on the smaller contracts, under like $300,000. I'm not certain on that threshold, but it's somewhere around 300,000. They can do it if they want to.
The reason I asked that question is most of our Telugu guys, Indian guys own IT companies.
Right.
So those people, there's definitely an advantage having it classified as 8A or 12A.
Absolutely.
Companies, that gets them in the door.
Absolutely, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can they complete the question for others? Can they complete the answer for others?
Let them.
Let them complete.
Yeah, have a seat.
No, I just was just a follow-up.
Have a seat. Have a seat. She'll answer you.
So the question was, is Rex gonna franchise? Right? Short answer is yes.
When?
We're working on it. The plan is to do it by April 2016. There's tons of interest.
So, mistakes done by, if there is any mistake done while shopping, if you want to talk about that, and if you are giving opportunity for franchise. So, one few common mistakes what we do when buying jewelry is we get lured with the discounts. We see the jeweler putting 70% off and immediately we say, wow, that's a great deal, let's go and buy. But again, common sense should be applied. How can somebody give 70% off on a jewelry unless he makes a markup of 500 times? For a jeweler to make even 30-40% margin